Alright, today on the table we have a pair of Redfield 8x42 binoculars. These are the Rebel model made by Redfield. And I really like these binoculars for the money. They're a great value. I'll give you guys some of the highlights first and then a couple of caveats. Things maybe I don't necessarily like on these. But there's a lot of things to like on these binoculars. And they definitely outweigh any of the negatives. I've been using these for about a couple of weeks now. I've been taking them out to the desert shooting with them and trying to spot my targets and my rounds, and they do a pretty decent job in close range from 1 to 200 yards. But these binoculars, if you're going to use them for shooting, are really limited in terms of being able to spot your rounds out past 150 to 200 yards. But they are good for birding and for just general use. And these are, again, 8-power binoculars. They give you a bigger field of view than the 10 or 12 powers. And what I like about these is they have real big ocular lenses on them. These are the 42 millimeter objectives. And the first impression you really get for these binoculars when you grab them is they're very ruggedly built. These things come in at a hefty 26 ounces, so they're a fairly large binocular. They have a 7.5 angular field of view, and the box, it says it weighs about 26 ounces, so I'm assuming that that is without the cap here, the rear scope lens covers. With the lens covers and with the neck band here, it came in on my scale again just a hair over 26 ounces, about 26.3. So yeah, they're very, very well built. They're very rugged. I like the front lens covers, how they are integrated with the design, so you won't lose them. The rear lens covers, the part of the binocular you will be looking through, they do come off, so it'd probably be a good idea to attach a lanyard to the center of these and then attach it maybe to the neck strap, just so you don't lose them. But they fit on pretty well, so they don't feel like some binoculars where they're just going to slip right off. But anyways, getting back to the construction here, it feels very much like a rubberized coating on the outside. Again, really rugged is the first impression I get from these binoculars. They have some good texturing grips right here, and even around the eyepieces, it's a nice rubberized coating you got around there. So the eyepieces do adjust. Got a couple of clicks here on each side. And then the center focus ring on this is really, really nice. It has an incredible depth of field here, and sorry about that noise in the background, guys. The depth of field on these is just amazing. I mean, I tried playing around with focusing on these binoculars at different distances, and I could focus as close as 6 feet away. And then just by adjusting the focus here just the slightest amount, I could go to 8 feet and then 12 feet and 20 feet and so forth. So you can get really, really close with these binoculars and focus on really close subjects if you need to. But the depth of field is really, really good, and because this has such a large focus ring, you can really dial it in very, very precisely. So I'd say that's another really big benefit of the design of these Redfield binoculars, is the focus ring. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'd say those are the two big points. Again, this is or not again, but this is waterproof. A waterproof design, that's very nice. I'd say the top 3 features of this are the rugged design, the grip and so forth, the focusing, and then the fact that these are completely waterproof is really, really nice. And I did take these, I did test these out in the rain for pretty much the entire day. It was drizzling and then raining off and on, and they stayed perfectly fine. No water or condensation got inside the lenses, so they did hold up to the elements. And I also had these in really, really strong winds, like with very fine dust, and like, you know, we're talking 20-mile-an-hour winds, and they held up well too. You can still see some of the dust around the eye caps here. But anyways, so that's all the good. Now, as far as moving on to some of the cons of these binoculars, I think the first thing is probably going to be the weight. Like I said, 26 ounces. These are very hefty binoculars. You're going to notice the weight right out of the box. And I guess that's the price you pay for having those large objective lenses, the 42mm lenses. And then as far as optical quality goes, it's a pretty good, they've got pretty good lenses on them. They are multi-coated, but I wouldn't say it's anything really impressive. I still get some purple fringing. I had some green fringing around the bottom of green objects like trees and branches, and then I would get some purple fringing around the tops of trees and the sides of buildings and so forth. So there's definitely some improvement to go on the optics. But when you consider the price tag of these things, I think I paid $120 for these, and that was a tremendous deal. Like just a terrific value for what you're getting here. And I'd say that the optical clarity is better than what you would typically receive of a pair of $120 binoculars. So I think that's about it, guys. I'm just gonna make this short and sweet. Make sure I didn't miss any specs here. In case you are interested, the total length of these binoculars is about 5.8 inches, and the exit pupil is 5.2. So that would be, you know, your 40mm divided by 8 power would give you that exit pupil diameter. One last thing I will say before I go is I'm not a big fan of the eye relief on here. It doesn't say, it does say on the box, it says the eye relief is 17mm. I just couldn't get really excited about the eye relief on these binoculars. Granted, yeah, they are really budget binoculars, they're only $120, but I pretty much had to press my eyebrows up against the top here of the ocular housing in order to get a full sight picture. So that's just one thing to consider. It didn't really bother me a whole lot, but it would be nice to be able to keep my eye away from touching the housing. And as you can see, these are pretty, I don't really see how they could design them differently, because the lens is really, really close to the ocular housing here. So if they could add a little bit more extra eye relief, I think that these would be just a total steal at $120. But a combination of the poor eye relief and the so-so lenses, I would probably rate these at like a $200 pair of binoculars. So it's still really, really good value at 120 bucks. So anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and take care.